this is Terri. Welcome back to my channel. We've got the peanut gallery right behind.
Hello.
So
I'm just plugging this wonderful, amazing, random book that I picked up on Amazon or at a lot of bookstores probably, or at the library, depending on where you want to get it.
After the last episode, Ray edited it and then came to me and said, okay, I have a list of things for you to be working on. And I said, okay, we'll be sure to go over them right before we record. And did we?
Nope.
Yeah, so much for learning and applying. But speaking of learning and applying, this week on Tuesday, I'm recording this on Thursday, and hopefully it's coming out on a Saturday. I dropped my son Adam off at the San Jose airport so that he could go back for his second semester of his freshman year. And I just want to know, will it get any easier? Because I sobbed. I sobbed when I dropped him off, I sobbed on the way down, and then I sobbed as I left. Fortunately, I had some pampering scheduled and I was able to go get my hair done, but it was rough. The cool thing about dropping him off is I chose to drive him down, and since we sat in some traffic on the way down, we had some really interesting conversations. And earlier on, I think sometime last week, we had dinner together, and I said to Adam, I feel like we failed you in not equipping you with the tools to make good choices in life. And his response was, oh, you gave me the tools. I'm just choosing not to use them. We're trying to parent without any real clue about what it is that we're doing. And honestly, it's really frustrating. And it's also terrifying. One would hope that in the second semester that it would be much easier. But since Adam had a friend die this first semester, it ended up being a lot more dramatic and traumatic than anyone would have imagined. So my fears in sending him off to college for the second semester, I don't think are unfounded. And he even said that sometime after Dylan died. He even said that my concerns for him were legitimate, that they were not irrational. And this is really not the thing that a mom wants to hear when her son is off making his own decisions for on a daily basis. So I do set it up so that I Snapchat with him every morning. I try to take a picture of one of the animals and send it to him so that he can respond. And the moment that I see that he's saved the picture to his camera roll, I know A, that he's alive. And then usually he sends me some sort of random partial facial picture to show me that that he is in fact alive and someone hasn't taken over his phone. And this is not something that I expected to have to deal with. When the kids are little, I was struggling with keeping them alive. I got a dog first, and I thought if I could keep a dog alive, then I could keep a kid alive. And so then we had Adam. I know, Ray, you're sitting back there going, oh, wow, this is not really what I wanted to hear. Yesterday, I had a chance to spend the day with my mom when we went up to San Francisco to the Palace of Legion of Honor and went to the Tissot exhibit, which was absolutely spectacular.
I'm really jealous.
Well, I
want to go see it now.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get you up there because it was just absolutely beautiful. Maybe you can insert a picture, Ray, of
Sure.
One of the pictures that I took. Absolutely spectacular. I was talking to my mom about how different it was from my mom, who was 20 when she had me and my sister, and I was 31 when I had Adam. And my mom had no idea what she was doing. I mean, twins in San Francisco. My dad worked a lot. I mean, that had to have been incredibly hard. And I mean, she really had no idea what she was doing. And she also, I don't think, had the same fears I did when I had Adam at 31 and then Ray at 34, because I knew what I had to lose. I knew what the risks were, and I had evolved. So I didn't have to grow up nearly as much as my mom did, because my mom basically grew up as we grew up. And I think that there's a lot to be said for being younger and completely naive and ignorant when having kids versus when you're older and you know more about the world and what you have to lose. So as Adam walked away, as I said goodbye to him and he walked in, and I had him actually pose for pictures because so many people posted pictures of their kids walking towards terminals, etc. And I really felt like part of my heart was walking away. I hope I don't cry. I haven't cried in 2 days. I guess at least since yesterday. But it was incredibly painful, and I want it to get easier, but I'm just afraid that it isn't. And as he becomes more and more independent and has more of his life established, I'm losing who he was to me, and I'm having to develop a new relationship and figure out what that's going to be moving forward. And there's a part of me that's just really not ready for it. And each time he comes home and spends time, I'm hoping that I will be able to transition into that easier. But one of the things that was interesting when I was setting the table Monday night for dinner, the last one before he left, I was setting it for the 4 of us and realized that I felt complete when he was home. Now I'm going to totally cry. When the 4 of us are together, even though he might be complaining, or Ray might be complaining, or Zeke might be complaining, or it might not be easy, I feel complete when the 4 of us are together. And I want to make sure that we are super solid as that this is our nucleus, and that it's super, super solid. And so now I'm kind of noodling over what to do to make sure that both of our kids want to spend time with us as they grow older. I've read about people continuing to do family vacations and enticing their kids to join them on various different activities. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing that. In the meantime, I'm just going to have to be happy with the snaps that he sends and the 5-minute conversations if he gives them to me. And then, of course, time with this one who keeps moving around every time we cut.
You're not supposed to mention it.
Oh, shh.
I'm cutting that bit out. Because I have power to do so.
That's fine.
Mwahahaha.
I had to make a choice between going to cardio tennis or taking Adam to the airport, and I think I've decided any time that I can have my child trapped in the car so I can have a conversation, I'm going to go ahead and choose it. And we had some really good and really deep conversations. You know, at one point, he asked if I had disappointed him, and I have to say my heart broke a little bit. And I said, no, absolutely not. What makes you think that you might have disappointed me? And he says, I don't know, maybe I'm just disappointed in myself. And I'm like, well, that's all on you. That's not on me, because I am super proud of him and I absolutely love him totally unconditionally. But we also talked about some of my regrets in parenting, and that I was so busy trying to do it all as a Gen X mom. I was told I could have a career, I could be a mom, I could be a wife or significant other, and that I didn't have to give anything up. But our society really doesn't set us up as Gen X women especially to be able to have it all. And I know a lot of us are exhausted, and I have regrets about not sitting down and playing freaking Candyland with my kids or
Candyland was the bomb.
I hated Candyland. But sitting down, spending, and not feeling like I needed to be doing something else or checking something else off the list. I always felt this constant pull to be getting something done or accomplishing something, not realizing that spending time with my kids was accomplishment enough. And I even said to Adam, I said, I feel like we were asleep at the wheel in middle school when he got absolutely destroyed. And he's still recovering from it. And it just breaks my heart, which makes it all the harder to send him off to be on his own when I know that he's a sensitive kid. And I just keep my fingers crossed that every day he builds more and more resiliency, and he really appreciates what an amazing kid or young man he is. I'll still call him a kid. He's always going to be my kid. In our conversation, when he talked about being disappointed, I was talking to him about making sure that he had the right priorities in place, and he mentioned something about making choices for the short term and the long term, and I suggested that maybe he set some goals for the semester, that maybe getting all A's and B's would be a goal, which he did, but then he failed a class the first semester.
So he almost did.
He almost did. turning in homework is apparently an important thing. So he said, oh, that's really easy. And I said, well, okay, not necessarily. But, if it's 7:30 in the morning and you wake up and you've been out late and had a really good time and you're trying to make a decision as to whether to get up or not, if you think in terms of, well, my goal is to get all A's and B's, getting up and going to class is going to be something that's going to contribute to it. I also suggested that maybe he set some social goals, since the fraternity is most likely not available to him, to meet some people, get involved, and set that as a goal. And maybe a financial goal to make sure that what he has in his savings account remains in his savings account. And some actions he can take would be to get a job and make sure that he's not spending beyond his allowance from us and my parents, and what he earned when he was working over the holiday break. So I don't know how it is if you have kids, if you push how hard you can push, but I know that with him, I can plant the seeds, I can push it. Nagging him is not going to do any good whatsoever. And I can and I can only hope that the seeds that I plant, whether he takes advantage of them now, that at some point they'll do him some good. It's just so hard to let go. My friend Lily came over today just to hang out and pick up some stuff for this prom dress program that she's put together with a friend.
Link in description.
Thank you. I'm so terrible at that. Anyway, she's had her kids home for a couple extra years, and she just said she doesn't know what she's going to do when her second kid goes off to college next year, and she's trying to figure out how to hold him just a little bit tighter as she enjoys the extra time with him. And yeah, that's all we can do, is enjoy the extra time that we have and hope that one day they appreciate what it is that we've done, and that we've done our very best jobs, because they don't come with manuals, and one can only hope that we've done enough to make them good, responsible, happy citizens of the world. So one of the things Ray was encouraging me to do is make sure that I wrap this all up nice and neatly. And I think the bottom line here is it doesn't necessarily get easier. As my mom said yesterday in the car, even though I'm approaching 50, just in a couple months, she still worries and has concerns about us kids. And really, they don't come with an instruction manual. And we can only do the best that we can and make sure we hug them and squeeze them and let them know that we love them absolutely unconditionally. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Feel free to share this with your friends if you think someone might be going through something similar and might want to feel less isolated and alone. I know how important that is for us women to really normalize the conversations around some of these tough things. And if you would like more about this, you can go ahead and buy my book, Piloting Your Life, available.
Link in description.
Also available on Amazon, and soon to be available in my own store, but I haven't finished setting that up yet. Just one more thing on the to-do list. Until next time, take some risks, let go of perfection, and above all else, have fun.
Peace.